And what's going on? What day is this?
Monday?
Today's not Monday.
You sure?
I'm sure. Today's Tuesday, right?
Okay.
Happy Tuesday. What's going on, you guys on Facebook and Periscope and YouTube and all that good stuff? You can come on and have a seat, honey. If you want to. Yeah, sit right here. What's going on? Sorry I missed you guys on yesterday. Just had some things going down, and I kind of wanted to just take the day off. And so I emailed my CEO and was like, "Hey, man, I'm not gonna be able to bust through today." And he was like, "All right, then." And so here I be. So let me make sure that I am streaming on StreamYard here. My CEO was like, "Hey, Danielle, what's going on?" See, and StreamYard is not giving me my stuff. What is happening? It's telling me 0 people. I have to pull it up on my Facebook here. What's up? No, the bricks are sideways. Thanks, Dave. I knew that. I know you will be the one to point me out. But when I put it up, it was my camera angle is too wide, so that's the reason why they're sideways. But only you can prevent forest fires, there, buddy. All right. So come on in, baby. Have a seat. What's going on? Have a seat. Oh my God, what's going on? All right. So if you are in here, make sure, please, that you go ahead and share and invite on the broadcast. I'm gonna put this mic in the middle of it so that way you can hear both of us talk. Trying to help you out. I got it, Dave. I think I got it. All right. So today broadcast, I have my lovely. You are not even in the camera. Okay.
Well, you're taking up all that space.
What are you trying to say? I'm wide.
Scoot over. We're
Okay.
both wide. There you go.
All right. So let me see if I can go ahead and share this out. Have you shared it already?
No.
Okay.
Unless you want me to leave and go get my phone.
What? Okay. No, I want you to leave and get your phone. You got both of us today. And she wants to. I love it at there. That's why she's my wife, though. I tell you. Hey, Vanessa, what's going on? All right. So it is Tuesday, another episode of the Common Sense Show TV, filmed live in location here in Twin Falls at the TCS TV studios. Trying to do a little upgrade here, but my backdrop is too narrow. But it took Dave to kind of, now I'm self-conscious about it because Dave don't mention it.
Well, we agreed that if somebody pointed it out, we'd return it and get a bigger one. So thanks, Dave. We're going to send it back now.
Yeah, I'll make Dave, since Dave pointed it out, make Dave pay for it. That's what I'll make Dave do. So, hey, April, what's going on? How you guys? Hey, Nicole, what's going on? You got both of us in the building today. Hey, right? So, I like streaming. I was not getting, see, you right here? We're going to give me any numbers. But I got a few people in there. It's crazy. But it's all right. I won't hold it against StreamYard. I think it's Restream that's giving me a hard time. All right, so you guys, so today, I struggled, right? Because I didn't know what I was going to talk about today, and I invited her on with me. So the first thing we're going to talk about, because we got a few minutes, right? So the first thing we're going to talk about is give everybody an update. You guys know we've been married for, hey, Shaquita, we've been married for, help me.
I don't know, since the 21st, however many days that is.
What's up, Ricky? What's up, Beth? What's going on? We've been married now for a few weeks, and so people have been asking, how's the married life and all that good stuff.
It's the same.
It is not the same, actually. I don't know why she would say it was the same. Hey, April. April says, hey. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, it's right here.
Hello.
Boom, right there.
Boom,
See?
right
Boom.
there.
All right, and so we and she says it's the same, or she feels like it's the same. To me, it's really not the same. It's really different being married now, because I haven't worn a ring in forever. We've been married for, I know, right? Do that. Don't do it, Nicole. Don't point it out. It's
3 weeks.
Yeah, 3 weeks.
Sunday made 3 weeks. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Oh, well, there you have it. 3 weeks. And so, I get that a lot. People inbox me or they'll text me and they ask me, well, how's married life? And I'm like, married life is married life. I mean, oh, Ricky says, hey, Ricky's the guy that did the video intro.
Hello,
so I didn't put that up yet. And so, hey, Carrie, what's going on? We're gonna get into a topic here in just a second, but we just want to give you guys an update of us being together or being married for 3 weeks. I gotta tell you, there's no God couldn't have given me a better gift, a greater gift than um, to be married to this one. And I just thought about something.
What'd you think about
I
it?
didn't change my titles on Restream, so they're watching this, and it's another title from this morning.
Mindset Tuesday.
Yeah,
I mean,
that's probably why people are like, "What's going on here? Why? That's not the way it's supposed to be." But yeah, I didn't change the title. That was it. Yeah, I had some issue with Restream.
a couple of topics you could talk about today still have to do with mindset and how you look at things. So nobody would have known besides the fact you put at somebody behind it.
Very see, that's why I married her, because she keeps me rooted, because I have no idea. All right, so one of the things, what's up, Dave? So one of the things that we were going to discuss was the fact that my backdrop is sideways, right? So Dave so happily pointed out, I had to see you on Facebook. Thank you, man. And so my backdrop is sideways, and so the first thing she said was when we put it up, is she was like, well, the backdrop is sideways. Who's going to see it? It's all about how you see things, how you perceive things, right? So I guess that's one of the things we're going to discuss tonight, as far as how you see things in your life, right? And we all go through different things. We see things in a different light. If I put a different light on this backdrop, it'd probably be straight to some of you guys. Just like that whole thing on Facebook a while back where it was, what color do you see? Some people saw blue, some people saw red. It's all about perception. It's all in how you see it. It's just like beauty's in the eye of the beholder, all that nonsense, right? And everyone knows I'm a little skewed. Yes, you are, Dave, but it's okay. We love you anyway. I don't know, buddy. Whatever room you call it. Anyway, that's what you mean about. But perception. What's your thing? What's your thing on perception, honey? What do you think? I mean, this is your idea. You thought of the whole perception and how you see the brick wall and all that.
Well, yeah, like it's straight to me. It's just because it's vertical and not horizontal doesn't mean it's wrong, right? I'm not in the kitchen. No, but honestly, like he just had an issue with the gray wall showing in the background, and I'm like, well, who's even going to notice? Like, who's worried about that stuff besides you? A lot of the time we look at things and we're worried about things that people won't even talk about. But I did tell him, if somebody notices that they're the wrong way, then we'll return it and get you a bigger one. But like I said, it's not even like, no one's worried about what's in your backdrop. They're worried about what you have. So both the kids went outside. They're supposed to be helping watch the little one. Come here, Terry. Do you want to say hi?
He's got yogurt on his feet.
Come here.
How you get yogurt on his feet? How'd that happen?
This is our distraction. Say hi.
Say hey.
Can you say hi? Look at.
You're finna ready to put his feet up there. Say hey. Look at the camera.
So this is our life.
This is yeah. He's the one. He keeps us.
So I normally don't ever try to come live because of him. Here, right? This is our life. When you hear it quiet, it's because I'm uncomfortable somewhere trying to keep 3 kids quiet. Let's just keep it real.
Yeah, it's rough out here. Let's see what Nicole says here. Well, I feel when you marry and honor one another under God and the unity with the rings and vows gives you a new connection under God, brings a whole new light to the meaning of relationship. It does, absolutely. It does.
Can you show them your sign language? Can you show them?
What am I doing here? I'm trying to point my clicker on my phone to bring up a comment. I'm totally out of it. All right. Let's see. Yeah, he is kind of cute. Ricky, we should set up a green screen. Then you don't have to worry about it. I hate green screen because I don't want to use OBS. So let's be honest with you. Let's go ahead and kill that right off the bat.
Is there another program that you can use?
I mean, yeah. I mean, but I don't like OBS. I can't stand it. It just makes my head hurt. But Dave and Ricky, they are the kings of green screen. Not I, said the cat. Not my thing. Hey, Daisha, what's up? And he's trying to get that. Terry. Don't be like, really? That's what we're going to do? We're going to laugh the whole time. Okay. So it's all about perception. And one of the things that we,
This could be the worst live ever, right? If we were really looking for some content. But look at this beautiful face.
Yeah, yeah. And he's straight in his spit mode. I don't know
By
what's going
taking
on.
his last name under that.
That's how you honor your husband. But that's yeah.
You know, the new thing is to just keep your last name. But
You know what? Here's what I want to ask everybody out here. Listen to me. Is it crazy for someone for a wife to hyphen her name, keep her maiden, but hyphen and then keep the husband's name? I'm curious to know about that, because I was telling her, I was like, you don't have to take my name all the way, hyphen your name and use my last name. But she was like, nah, I want your whole last name, I want the whole thing. So
I guess I'm just curious, like, where society switched that. I know that some people feel that they're in school,
insurance.
They're maybe they're working on a doctorate or something, and changing their name would be, they could see you, just
So pitiful. So pitiful.
Anyways, I was saying, some people are in school and they're going for their doctorate, or they've already earned a degree, and it's really hard to change your name when you have certain things. And so I guess in some instances I get it, but I'm just curious, like, where did society change when women are you doing acrobats? What are you doing? Like, women want to keep their own name, or a lot of women are expecting their husband to take their name. I'm just curious on what you guys think. Like, when did that change in society?
I'm curious about that too.
Because
I know some guys that have taken their and in the reverse, there's some guys that have taken their wives' last name. I think that's a little crazy. I'm not gonna do that, but yeah, I don't know. What do you guys think? I'm curious. And while I'm thinking about this, thank you for joining the show. You can ask questions, throw comments. You have 6 little emojis down in the bottom right-hand corner. Make sure you guys go ahead and tap those. That way we can stay with the Facebook algorithms. Okay, it's an honor to take your husband's last name under God. Okay. So her hyphen isn't a good thing.
I mean, why? I don't know. I just don't see a point in hyphening, because when you hyphen, you end up shortening it anyways. And I would continue to use my maiden name. It just doesn't. He was trying to talk me in. I don't see a point in it. I am working towards a degree, but I am in the middle of it, so it's not like it's hard for me to change any. I mean, besides the fact you have to go everywhere and change it in like 20 different locations, but I just don't see a point in it. I don't know, old school. Take on your husband's last name. It's just kind of what I'm used to.
Okay, then. So Jessica has a nursing degree, and it just took one more step to change that name. It was no problem.
Interesting. And people make it a really big deal. So I've never tried. I just, through the grapevine, I've heard that it's a pain to do. So that's interesting to see that it's really not that big of a deal. But I even know teachers that still use their maiden name. I don't know.
Okay. So Nicole, so is it biblical for a man to take his wife's last name? Because I haven't heard anything on that either way, as far as being biblical or straight crazy or whatever. But I've seen it happen. I've seen where men have taken their wives' last name and all that. For Tino Cedeno, it's pretty common for Hispanics. A lot of times it's 4 to 5 names between grandpa, grandma, and then the mother and the father, which is usually 3, 4.
So culture is different.
This was a bad idea. This was a bad idea. You think it's cute?
I do.
Okay. So
I mean, this is real life.
Yeah, it is real life.
This is our life. I mean,
you
don't like it.
Yeah, it is what it is.
I won't be on the next show. It's okay.
Yeah, you're banned on the next show. But nonetheless, the man is a household biblically. Okay. Also, the government messes up a lot. It's easy to prove it's your kid. This is like because it's not showing up. The comments not showing. I don't know
Yeah.
where Fortino
It
is.
is on
I don't-
my friends list.
On your finger, okay. And look at Dupe in the building. What's up, girl? How are you, ma'am? Let me apologize to you guys. The title of this live is wrong because I did not change it on Restream. So yeah, you're catching me. This is the Common Sense Show TV. This is the episode with Melissa and I, and we're just sitting here. We're just shooting the breeze and talking. We're talking about changing the last name, being married. Now that we're married, and so Miss Nicole has has made her comment, and which is absolutely correct.
Can you stop, please?
Is that absolutely correct? Yeah, a little Muslims joining you. There's something to be with. Yeah. He is all the way live right now.
Sorry.
All the way live.
Cool.
It's also biblical to follow man's law, document the marriage on paper, and God's commandments. Come on, dude. Don't step on that. Don't step on that. No. So anyhow, so be us, follow man's law. Okay. But you know the question that I get a lot. I don't know if she gets it as much as I get it. Dupe said she's gonna compromise and hyphenate.
Just extra to me.
But see, Dupe.
But I don't care. So where she wants to have her last name, that's awesome.
But see,
For them-
Dupe has a unique last name.
Right. I'm just West, and I can no longer say West like the direction. I mean,
No, you cannot.
I'm little.
You can't say little like small.
Little like
Small.
small.
Yeah.
It just doesn't
Do it have a
the
ring? Same ring? Oh, okay.
So I have a list, if you haven't been able to notice, and people always think I say West, so WES, and so I would have to say West like the direction.
Yeah, she used to kill me with that. I used to laugh. Every time she said it, I would laugh. She would say, my name is Melissa West, like the direction. Like they know West is the direction. They don't have to say that. That's kind of a foregone. Dupe Alaru, one and only, not changing it. That's Hey Amanda, what's going on? And Dupe, and she has a very unique name. I've always wanted to ask Dupe the origin of her last name, because Alaru is something that you don't hear very often. It's not a very unique. I mean, not a very common name.
I mean, the way I look at it, I was always last.
You're not related to Kanye, are you?
I was always last in the alphabet. I had to wait till the end of the alphabet to ever get called for anything.
No.
And so now I'll be an L. So when I graduate college, I won't have to wait as long, right? I don't know.
You have to wait long, but not as long.
But not as long, right?
Okay. It's Nigerian French. Okay, I never knew that. I know she has the little thing over the E. What do they call that? What the little thing over the E? What do they call it, Dupe? It's DUPE, but it's a little.
I know what it is too. You just put
asterisk thingy. I don't know what the it's not an asterisk.
No, it's
just
not,
something
but,
else. I was always first. Hated being called first.
See, it's how you look at things. I hated being last. When we graduated high school, there was like 400 and something kids, and
accent.
That's
That's
always
it.
at the end.
Yeah,
always
an accent. That is it.
What are you doing?
And Miss Dupe, I don't know if you guys know. Listen, if you guys are in here and you're listening, accent mark. Also, Eric, if you're listening to me on any platform, Periscope, YouTube, or whatever, and if you do not follow Dupe Alaru, I need you to get on the good foot. She is going to be the next big thing behind the mic before too long. She's already halfway there, so you might want to get on that train while you can. So y'all go ahead and follow Dupe.
What do you want?
Out of California,
What do you want? Show them.
She's awesome. Been following her for years.
Say
We've been friends for a long time.
Please. Say please.
Could please, this is.
Give him please.
You stimulated too much.
Thanks.
All right. So, anywho, next thing. So we've gotten past the names. Okay. What else is on your thing? What else is on? Hey, little Terry.
He's
Amanda,
so hyper.
gotta love her. What else on your agenda? Oh, I was gonna say, I get all the time, because we're an interracial couple. Well, no, really no quotes, but interracial couple, and people are like, what's it like being married to? I've had somebody ask me this. How's it like being married to a white woman? I say the same thing. If it's like being married to a black woman. It's just that she has more pale skin. That's it. It's the same thing. I don't know. I don't understand. I say you guys just flip a coin and whoever wins keeps their name. That's your boy. He said I can't get him on my screen here. I'm not sure why. So just flip a coin.
I don't have a problem with it. Why do you want me to keep my name? And West people are crazy.
Yes,
I'm good. I'm ready to part my ways. I'm good.
And you know what? And I met those Wests, and yeah, there is yeah.
I'm excited to finally have 2 last names in the household instead of 3. We have my children prior to this relationship.
Changing our last name, Al.
Changing her last name. A different last name than I do. So we had 3 last names, his, mine, and my oldest 2. So we have 3 last names. So the poor mailman, Williams, Weston, Little, it's just too much. And now they'll be Williams and I'll be Little. Just X out 1. I will still always probably be called Mrs. Williams. Hopefully the school this year will figure it out.
Yeah. She's a dude. I'm a dude. We're all dudes. I'm telling you, that's kind of how it is.
We're just kind of talking about anything.
Yeah, we got this rambling. Because I didn't have any time.
Kids outside. Gotta go.
He just went out the front door.
No.
Where the kids at? I thought the kids were. Okay, I don't know. But anyway, so yeah, somebody actually asked me, what's it like being married to a white woman? And I was like, yeah, she's just as human on the inside. She rocks a good tan. If you guys missed some wedding photos, they coming. When you see the wedding photos, you like, oh no, the tan was rocking. She's really rocking it. Hey Billy, what's going on? So yeah, I think that was the dumbest question I probably could have ever fielded from anybody. But that was the straight up. What's up, Keith? That was a straight up question. Like, yeah, what's it like? What he gonna knock over my light? Show us the food's on over here. Well, get over here. Come here. And so,
do you hear the country come out in him when he's talking to the baby?
Why are you picking at me in my country talk?
Hey.
Okay. Okay, yeah, get there. Man, I am not. First of all, I'm not country. I am. I don't know what they call it, but I'm not country. I am.
What do you want to see?
Maybe I am country. I can't think of it. Maybe I am country. Yeah, if you put on Chayo, I bet you'll be quiet. Anyways, what else here? What else? What's on your mind? You don't know?
You went left. We were supposed to talk about fear and having children with disabilities.
There it is. Can you say his wife didn't change her last name?
My wife didn't change her. And that's fine. Like, I'm not judging anybody, but I'm taking your last name, so get over it.
I don't have a problem with it. I'm just saying. I don't have a problem with you saying my last name. Take it.
Honestly, I hate having 3 last names in the same household. It just bothers me. Hey. Way too much. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Are you doing all right?
Hey, Devery, what's going on? AJ, what's going on? What's up? Big Dreamer. Greg Walker in the building. What's up, dude? What's happening with you? Glad you are here. Like I said, if you have not shared the video yet, go ahead and share it, man. We're just shooting the breeze. Me and her, we haven't been live together since we've been married, have we? Been live before, right?
We did, I think, a thank you live to everybody in our wedding party, but that was about it.
And the kid is in the cereal. He's finna get ready to tear up all my cereal. He's going cuckoo with Cocoa Puffs right now.
Thank you.
But I hope you guys like the backdrop. Yes, it is sideways. I'm proud of my sideways backdrop because my camera angle is too wide, so you would catch the corners of my wall here with it. But it's all good. It's all good, right? Hey, Karma, what's going on? Oh, I talked to Karma forever. Hey, Karma, what's going on? How are you? So she wants to talk about fear, but before we get into that, let me take a commercial break really quick, okay? Because I got to pay the bills or Devontae will get mad at me. So just hang tight. Let me see if I can find that other commercial. Did I save it? Probably not. I did not. I'm so mad.
Great backdrop.
Hold on.
I stay cooler than the Chi-Town breeze, but hyper like I'm at the World Cup overseas. Do rag for waves with me, gotta stay fresh. I never leave home without it like American Express. I'm feeling kinda old school, how about you? If you're feeling how I'm feeling, this is what you do. Throw it up, 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 throw it up.
All right, I'm back. So no, Dave, I have the 922. I think it is. Hey, Carmel. See, Keith says it's a great backdrop, even if it is sideways.
I think so too.
See, I'm just saying, I like my people to support me. I love that. What's up? What's up, Cuzzo? What's going on with you?
I still think we'll get a bigger one, but
yeah, I think we need a big one because
I mean, our last one was like 10 feet tall. It was like
that green
huge.
Screen. It was like
was
30 feet. It was crazy.
It was ridiculous.
Yeah.
It really was ridiculous.
It was really, really crazy.
Maybe perfect for photography, but not for what.
Yeah.
You know.
I won't get one to put on my chair.
Our living room looks like a studio, not a living room.
But I told you though. So it's not like you didn't know. So we're going to talk about. Keith said unique. I like unique. Works for me. All right. So we're going to talk about fear now because this morning, I don't know if you guys know, I rock with a couple of brothers. Well, actually 5 of us, called the Brothers of Legacy. And this morning in our Periscope Pastor Cast, we was talking about mindsets. And one of the, remember, I think it was AD. This was graffiti on that. That's what I'm talking about. And one of the, I think it was AD, and he was talking about fear, moving past your fears. And so I want to implore people who are watching this that if there's a spot in your life where you are, and there may be a call or a move for you to move to a different state or to move from a different job or to move in something, and you have a level and you have a level of fear. Thanks, Gray, for sharing. If you have a level of fear, we want you to get to the place where your mindset's changing and you can move on past the fear, because the fear is going to definitely keep you in that stagnant place to where you're not going to progress, you're not going to grow, you're not going to learn anything, and you just keep going around the same circle, doing the same thing, making the same mistakes over and over again because we're fearful. Case in point with us, when we moved out here to Idaho from Chicago and North Carolina, respectively, 3.5 years ago, believe me, the fear was real. Absolutely real, because I don't know about you, but the fear was real for me. I was like, I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know anybody in Idaho. I'm black. I'm gonna be real with you. I had a whole bunch of fears going on.
But he also didn't show them, because I was the one that was like, Idaho, I'm not moving to Idaho. Where is Idaho? Let me look this.
We both I had to Google it too.
But he was the one that talked me into it. I was down for moving and relocating, but Idaho, like, what is in Idaho? And honestly, I had to pray about it, because had I not, I would have let fear get in the way. And we took what I call a step of blind faith. We had never been to Idaho. We didn't vacation here. We knew a couple people in a multi-level marketing company. And I mean, let's be honest here, most people in MLMs, they just want another person underneath them to make them have better residual income. It's not about building quality relationships. And so, it took a lot for us to get over the fear of starting new. But Terry and I were both in a place in life where we had nothing. I lost everything. Some of you know my story. Some of you don't. Maybe I'll go live one day and tell that story. I don't know yet. We'll see where we get. But I was sleeping on my mom's couch. He was living in a hotel. Like, we really had nothing. And the people that we came here to be around are no longer in our lives. And so you also have to remember that, along with change and not letting fear stop you, that like some people are in your life for reasons and seasons, and God has a plan for you. But if you allow fear to stop you from what he has set out for you, then you may never reach that. And so I guess a piece of advice would be, like, if you have a negative mindset towards something, anytime you think of one negative thing, I want you to come back with 3 positive things. Even if it's, I woke up and put makeup on today, like, that's a positive. I mean, it could be the smallest thing. Like, my kid put their shoes by the door where they're supposed to be. Just flipping that mindset, because normally fear and negativity comes together.
Yeah. Absolutely.
You too, Amanda.
Yeah, Amanda's great. I love Amanda. I don't even get to see her no more. I miss you, Amanda. And you and Ezra. One of the things when we're talking about fear, one of the things that I've said in a bunch of lives and scopes is, and it was a revelation that came to me about 2.5 months ago, maybe 3. And I was doing a scope and it just dropped in my spirit. And God said, huh? Oh, and what came to me was your blessing, your progress, your progression is on the other side of what you do not want to do. Fear will keep you from doing things you don't want to do, because it's like, because like let's just say God, you're progressing, and God says, okay, now you have to go and forgive that person, or you have to go and ask for forgiveness. And if you do that, your blessings on the other side of that. And a lot of times, because of fear, because you're afraid of what they're going to say, or you're afraid they're not going to receive what you tell them or whatever. But because of that, we don't do it. And a lot of times we miss our blessings. We miss the progression. We miss those baby steps. We miss those growth milestones in our life because we don't want to do what we have to do. Your blessing, your growth progression is on the other side of what you don't want to do.
So here's what I didn't want to do was get married. That was my security, right? In the United States, it's sad, but it's true. If you stay single, it's easier to go through college. You get better benefits. You have health insurance for you and your children. Like when you get married, you lose all that. And so that was my fear that was stopping me for saying, okay, let's do it. Like I knew that God, put me and Terry together and that he has something great for us. But I had fear of losing my security net, and getting married meant I lost all of that. So here I sit, going to lose insurance and all that stuff. But I know I had to push through that and I had to pray about it. And when I went to a summit a year ago, God put that on my heart that we were at a standstill in our relationship. We were not going to go forward. We were not going to, we were missing our blessings. And if it wasn't for us getting married, I know that God has stuff in store for us. I know that what we've been blessed with is nothing compared to what he will continue to bless us with now that we're, united as one through Christ. And so it's just, you've got to let that fear go. And if you don't know how, pray about it. Pray about it.
Fear is such a pertinent part of life, right? It's a mainstay. Fear will be there. But it's not necessarily the fact that fear is in your life, is how you react to it. Now, you either can, because I tell anybody, if you're afraid to do something, you got two choices. You either going to sink or swim. You're either going to let it take you, or you're going to overcome it. Those kind of your choices. There's no gray area to hussyfoot. That's a country term. Yes, hussyfoot around the situations. If God says, or if you've been led to minister, if you've been led to do something in a different state, guess what? Your progress is going to stay still until you do what you are told to do. Once you get past your fear, it's always going to be there, though. So don't let me be real clear that fear is going to be there, but it's how you handle it and overtake it. That's what's going to happen at the end. Right, honey? Mm-hmm. Are you still fearful?
No.
Is there anything you still fear now?
There's times where I'm not in the word enough and I allow fear to creep back in. For so many years, I was told I wasn't good enough. I was in a very bad relationship. I'm a survivor of domestic violence. And I was told that, I would never amount to anything. Nobody would ever love me. You'll never be anything. And so I have to say that now, God led me to go back to school. I was originally going for social work for nursing. And I just felt like that's not where God was leading me. God was leading me towards social work. But I allowed fear to seep in for a little bit. And so I continued my last semester for nursing because I just wasn't sure yet. And the issue was I hadn't prayed about it. I hadn't asked God to guide me, to continue to guide me through school. I believe that he had got me in school because that's where I was supposed to go back to school. I just think I had it wrong with where he wanted me. And so there are times in life where I think we all do, even if we overcome fear and we have God on our side, I still feel like there's times in our lives where we hit something new and it's uncomfortable. And that's where we allow fear to step in if we're not seeking him first. So I guess, I'm not fearful of our marriage or fearful to go back to school Monday. Like I'm like that stuff, I'm not fearful, but I guess where I can be fearful is am I doing what I'm supposed to be doing? Is what I heard the right thing?
But you went to school Monday?
Yeah. This guy started a new job. Me and the kids both go back to school Monday. Sometimes I wonder.
The house to myself in Jesus' name. That's what I'm talking about. All right, so I'm sorry. I miss you when you're gone. I do.
Anyways,
I
so
do
yeah,
miss
fear.
it.
I think we can allow it to creep back in at any point in our lives if we're not diligent and staying in the Word and seeking Him first. Like, not, I changed my major, now let me pray about it. God, is this the right thing? Like, no, it's seek Him first. Our pastor's talking about that a lot too, about pray first, seek Him first. He should be your first, not your last. And I definitely think that's absolutely true, that we have to seek Him first.
Yeah. Be proactive, not reactive as well.
And emotions can get us in trouble. Like a lot of the time we make choices based on fear, the emotion, and we make the wrong choices. So
definitely. Fear will keep you with someone that hasn't loved you in 10 years. Fear will keep you in a situation to where you've been unhappy for 10 years because it's a thing of, I don't want to be alone. I'm so scared. I don't want to venture this life without the person that you don't had your soul tied with for so long, but who has also stopped loving you so long. And we've been there. We've all done it. I've done it 1,000 times myself. And that fear, you have to kind of remove yourself. Hey, Coach. Hey, Courtney. Alicia, I see you. And you have to step yourself out of that realm of fear. I know it's hard to do sometimes. But that's what I'm talking about, Coach. She said false evidence is appearing real. Yeah, buddy. And so that is the absolute truth because that fear is so strong. Fear will wake you up out your sleep at night.
Dude.
Fear.
You are so extra right now.
He is extra right now. Nice. Yeah. That you run the base on that one, didn't you? But yeah, fear will wake you up out your sleep. Fear will have you moving in all of your emotions, not just one, but all of them. So, if you need to get to a place of not having any fear, it's right here. We need to do that. Keith says, my wife and I and myself had just changed churches, and we procrastinated on doing that for a while. There was so much fear. Yeah, because
we have a story kind of like that.
Yeah. Well, not really. Well, yeah, kind of sort of. Because when we first came to Idaho, she went to a church here in Idaho, in Twin Falls called Lighthouse. And Lighthouse is a great church. I went once or twice, and I was just like, not my thing. And hey, I can put a camera up here. You don't want me to pull it up.
Go ahead. Keep talking.
Okay. And so she went. She was diehard. She served in the whole nine. But I went like twice and was like, no. But I think my mindset was wrong because I wanted Lighthouse to be like church back home, and it wasn't that, right?
Yeah, I used to drag him to church,
kicking and screaming. Trust me.
Like drag him, and then he would fall asleep. So I would have to.
Yeah.
Like, you're snoring too loud.
I'll be snoring in church.
And so we were invited by friends to go to this new church, Believers Church. That's our church home. Y'all, we've been there, we've barely missed any days. But the fact that I didn't have to drag him, he was getting the kids up, getting ready. He's ready to go to church Sunday. And so I'm glad, who was it, Keith, that you and your wife, finally let fear go and change churches and explore, because we have to be fed. And part of the issue was his mindset, but part of it was he wasn't being fed the way that he needed to be fed. And we found that at Believers. Nothing wrong with Lighthouse. Lighthouse feeds plenty of people. It was feeding me. I was there. I was consistent. But I had fear in that. I mean, I was comfortable in Lighthouse. I knew all my CR people. Like,
Mhm.
I had my spot where I sat Sunday morning. I knew the songs. I was good. I was happy.
Yeah.
And the fact that he wanted to keep going to this church that we were just visiting for one Sunday, I was like, oh man,
Yeah.
really?
Yeah.
But it was what God had for us. He was leading us out of one spot and into another so that our entire family could be fed. Even the kids love going to Believers.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a full family affair now on a Sunday morning, like it should be. It shouldn't be, just the wife dragging the kids out on Sunday morning. I get some people work Sundays and they can't make it every Sunday. There's no judgment there, but for us it was, I had fear, and it took me a couple weeks to be like, okay, this is our new church home, but I have to take in what God's giving me, and He's giving me the fact that my family's together at church Sunday mornings, and now we're knees deep in it. We serve. Terry serves in the children ministry. We're all over the place. So
Yeah,
Jessica said,
"Yeah, Jessica had a lot going on." She said, "I've had a fear. Keep coming back with my son, and I'm making the right choices for him in life, in health, and then I have to realize having my son with a disability is the best. I wouldn't change it for the world. God chose me to be his mama for a reason. He knew I could handle the ups and downs that came along with it. I was the best one that can make the right choices for him to have the best life." And I tell you, and me and Melissa have the same story. Little Terry running around here is on the spectrum, on the autism spectrum.
well, he hasn't been diagnosed, but we're pretty sure he's autistic. My little cousin, though, has a couple of different disabilities, and Jessica definitely has it rough. And her, I always tell Terry in the beginning he wasn't okay with it. You weren't okay with, I would say, my son's autistic. And he's like, don't put a label on my son. And in a sense, we do label our children. But he was like, my son's not normal. And it took somebody at church giving us an encouraging word that, like, God gave us exactly what he wanted to give us. And if he's autistic, I had to pray. Terry doesn't know this, but I prayed that Terry would be okay with the fact that if our son is autistic, that, he's perfect. Anything that God creates is perfect. And so he created our son perfectly just for us. And whatever is set for us here in the future, is what we're going to live with. But I think I dealt with it a little differently because I have Javante. And some of you know my story, but my son has been in different types of therapy since he was 18 months old. And I've been through all of this before, although his diagnoses now are bipolar and ADHD. But I've kind of lived this already. And so I know, at one point I said, God, why? Like, I already struggle with my oldest and his anger problems and the bipolar and the just 1 minute we're fine, the next minute we're not. And we're in psychiatric hospitals, but I just prayed that there would be peace in our family and knowing that whatever God has in store, it's part of our story. And having a child with disabilities is really hard. And I've got not one, but two now. Like, we got speech therapy coming twice a week, occupational therapy coming twice a week. And that's not even talking about the oldest therapy and school appointments. But I know that we're cut out for it because God gave us that. So, hey, Cherie, love you.
Yeah, hey.
But it's definitely not easy, Jessica. She's my cousin. She's in Missouri.
Oh, okay.
But
why didn't you go to the wedding? I'm kidding.
Because I didn't send an invite.
I'm kidding. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Yeah, but
I'm just so yeah. She's right though. I mean, and when this whole thing started, I didn't want to, and you guys have heard me say this and talk about it before, that I didn't want to accept that diagnosis. I didn't want to, hear that my son might be autistic. But this is the mind shift. This is the mind shift that I had to have. My mind shift was this. My boy is perfect from A to Z. There's nothing that I would not do for him. And so I had to completely change the way I saw the whole thing. And so now he's my perfect boy. And no matter what he does, that boy is faster than the road runner. I promise you, at 2 years old, this boy can get away from you and be down the road before you know it,
He's so smart. He
yeah.
just doesn't know how to vocalize with us, and so that's why we've got him started in therapy. But if I can be completely honest, I blamed it on them for a long time because I've had kids. I was on kid number 3. I've done this, right? And they would talk for Terry. They wouldn't make him talk. But once I realized, like, wow, this is going on way too long. He had 15 to 20 words. Like, something's not right. There were certain things that he did, the way his body tensed up, just things that I noticed weren't quote unquote normal. And I was like, okay, maybe he's not like this because you guys are talking for him. Maybe he's really struggling in this area. And if any of you know anything about autism, because we're in Idaho and I didn't think you guys would come. It's expensive to get here.
Yeah.
It's really expensive. Yeah. Anyways.
Yeah. It is expensive.
We'll send you a picture though.
We got a few of those. Hey, Nina.
I forget what I was saying. I'm not as good as you on here.
You got to keep up.
Oh yeah. So I was saying.
Don't let the comments stop you. Just read your comment and keep it moving.
But you know, for a long time, I'm like, he's not talking anymore because of you guys. Like, I blamed it on the kids and I blamed it on Terry because I'm like, make him speak. He says, you know, this and he points and he wants it. You just give it to him. Like, no, make him say up. He wants down, make him say down. So for a while, he wasn't getting the help he needed because I blamed it on them. And it took me a minute to realize, like, oh, wait, there's something else going on here, you know? So, but it's just, it's different. It's different. It's not easy, but I know that we're set out to do it. So
yeah,
it'll get interesting.
Yeah.
This semester, I've taken on some new journeys and
she always doing something.
I don't know how to stop.
Huh?
I don't know how to stop. Just keep on going like the Energizer Bunny.
You better figure it out. All right, honey, we got 13 minutes. We're in the home stretch now. All right. So I know you was like, oh, 13 minutes. No, 13 minutes. We got 13 minutes.
I thought we had a half-hour show.
No, sorry. That's my spot. The Duarte comes on at 6.
Oh, okay.
But anyway, what's next up?
I don't know.
Fear. You already talked about fear.
We already talked about kids with disabilities.
Yeah, talk about it. Yeah. Brady has autism on top of everything else, and it was hard, but a blessing.
Jessica, what is everything else? I don't know that, you know, I think I know one of them, but if you don't mind sharing some of what you deal with, that would be pretty cool. Anybody else on here have kids with disabilities?
I think if April is still on here, her son has autism. I think she's gone now.
And okay, here's my question. So now that I'm in this area, I've been reading, like, has autism or is autistic? There's this big fight in that world where people don't like being called, what is it? Being labeled as having autism. They are autistic. Maybe Jessica can help me out with that. But there's, like, I thought, you know, the symbol for autism was the puzzle piece. And I was reading on this autism forum that, like, people don't like that. And it's, I don't know. Does anybody have any insight on that? I'm curious to see. They talk about being something about first person, not being labeled. I don't know.
You know what?
You know, it's very interesting to me because I'm like, I'm going to get a puzzle piece with my kid's name on it, you know. And then I was reading and it was like, oh no, people in the autism world don't, you know, people that have autism. What's the proper language? I'm curious.
It's right here.
He is 1 in 2 kids in the world that has Williams. I knew that's what it was. And Marfan syndrome together. Wow. So it's been really hard for you because they don't know how to treat him if it's not something that they see very much, right? And so a lot of it's probably trial and error to see what can help. Jessica's definitely been through the ringer, and she lives in a small town in Missouri, and so she always has to travel to the bigger, is it Jeff City or St. Louis? She has to travel, you know, away from home to go get Brady the help that he needs. He's just an awesome kid though. He's getting so big. I remember when he was like little. So nobody has any input on the whole proper term. Both have separate heart condition. Williams syndrome causes stenosis or hardening of the arteries, and Marfan syndrome causes aneurysm, so they don't know how the two are going to counter. See, when we stress about the stuff that he goes through, that the baby goes through, I always tell him somewhere somebody is struggling even more than what we're struggling with.
That saddens my heart, man, because man, I don't even know. Well, Jessica, we're praying for you guys. St. Louis, 2.5 hours away.
Yeah. See, and so we're in Twin, and it's hard to have kids with disabilities in a smaller area because we don't have the help that they need, or they're so overworked and their caseloads are so big that, like, right now we're waiting to see a developmental pediatrician. 3 months, guys. Like, the waiting list is 3 months because there's one doctor in town that can diagnose, or one behavioral pediatrician. Like, there's one person, and so she does work with people that are believed to be autistic. We met her when we first moved here because she does the mental health with the kids too. So it's hard.
Yeah. No, you just say that same thing all the time. I mean, because you just never know. There are people have it. Some people have it rougher than others, man. You just don't know. But yeah, I hate to hear about kids being sick and all that. I got a friend of mine who her son was just diagnosed with muscular dystrophy, and she's mad at the world right now because she's not going to see. I think they diagnosed him up to like 18 or 20. That's his lifespan, and she's very upset about that. And why you take my kid from me? Why you do this? And so I can definitely understand. It's crazy. There are only 4 specialists in the USA. Last I knew, they specialize in Williams syndrome, and we're lucky ones in St. Louis. It's crazy.
Wow.
Man.
I mean, so potentially, if you didn't live in Missouri, you'd be traveling across the country or have to uproot your whole life away from your family to try to get help.
Yeah.
We can drive to Boise 2 hours.
Yeah.
It's a long, horrible drive. There's
drive.
Nothing to look at. It's like all desert.
Yeah.
It's the worst drive ever.
Yeah.
I used to drive back home, but it was like suburb after suburb, or you're on the expressway and you can see the towns all off the expressway. Yeah. Like, this is the worst drive.
The worst ever.
And then sometimes you get out there and it's not even the best care. Like, we're in Idaho. We're behind the times in a lot of things here. And funny enough, when they were trying to talk us into moving out here, they're like, the mental health field is so much better. You could get so much more help for your kid out here. And I didn't research it. I just, I believed it. And I was like, let's go. If you're getting ready to move, do your research.
Yeah. It was
Thanks, Keith.
I think it was just we moved out here. We took the word because we wanted to believe them. We wanted to believe that what they were saying was true. And like she said earlier in the broadcast, that those folks that were in our lives when we first got out here aren't in our lives anymore because of whatever. I'm not going to speculate, but they're not in our lives anymore. And there are some days, it bothers me that those folks are not in our lives anymore. Boy, I tell you. You know what, Keith? Thank you for that, man. We get that a lot, that we come to each other. She keeps me rooted. She supports me in there and a lot of things that I do with the social media thing. She is really supportive. This backdrop, these lights that you guys don't see behind my computer here is, that's all her. The Mac that I'm on, that's her. And so she.
Yeah, that's the birthday, the anniversary,
the
wedding, everything.
That's the next. No, that's the gift for the next 10 years. Yeah. But she's the greatest. She's the greatest thing that come along in my life since sliced bread, and I love sliced bread with butter on it. With some bologna and cheese. I'm just saying, it's good stuff. But I love sliced bread. She's
the right kind of bread.
Right. You can buy that raggedy crap from the store. But anyway, again, We got 5 minutes. We're gonna go ahead and set it down. Listen, I want to thank every one of you guys that came in, that shared the broadcast, that threw up an emoji. I really, really appreciate it. She doesn't really care because she doesn't go live like that. But thank you guys for being a part of this, even though the title was wrong. On the restream, I appreciate you. You guys have the best day. I hope you guys are able to get to the doctor sooner than later. Yeah, I think we have an appointment in October, right? For about the man.
November. I don't know.
Okay, he's not going to.
You know
gonna be
what?
like that.
I'm
Start
a very
spreading,
busy lady. I don't know, but I could tell you it's in my calendar somewhere. Somewhere in there.
Yeah, she always got something. Anyway, so if you would like to support me and the movement, if you look up in the upper right hand corner of your screen there, you see Ordinary People Media. That's the network that I'm part of. This is where we take ordinary people and make them extraordinary. What we do here is we take people who have their own story to tell and who may be afraid to tell it. We are the ones we want to set out to help folks tell their story. It could be a funny story, it could be a serious story, it could be however. But sometimes, I'll tell you guys, don't be afraid to tell your story because there is someone who is waiting to listen. Someone else's breakthrough just may come between your two lips. You know what I'm saying? So it's sometimes you just gotta get out there and say it. And we'll give you all the training, we'll give you all the tools you need to tell that story. So if you'd like to join us, go ahead and join the Facebook page of Ordinary People Media on Facebook, and come on and see us. But we're gonna go, honey. Do you have any parting words before we get out of here?
No.
Is that right? All right. So she had no parting words.
Told you guys I don't do this. This is him. I just support. Thanks for chatting with us, and I hope you took something from this. I don't know.
Yeah.
Awkward. See, I don't know.
I was able to write for me tonight. Yeah, well, that's what's up. That's what we want. If we don't hit number one person in the whole group, that was our job. That's what God told us to do. So we're doing it. All right. So we're gonna get out of here. We're gonna see you guys on Sunday. Join me on the Common Sense Show TV right here on the Ordinary People channel and on Facebook. You guys have a great evening, and we'll see you next time. All right. Peace.
How did I know you were gonna do that?
Because I always do that.